Isn't that right?
That's right. You must turn off your gas and electricity and quickly evacuate from areas vulnerable to flash flooding.
What should we do if we are already outside?
Evacuate to a safe place, away from construction sites, underground spaces, and areas prone to frequent flooding. If you're driving, do not stop the car. Instead, slowly drive through the flooded area without stopping.
What should we do once the rain stops?
When going into buildings that have been submerged, do not touch electrical facilities and make sure to ventilate, as there is a risk of gas leakage.
We should also reduce preventable damages and prepare for disasters ahead of time by following safety guidelines.
That is correct. You can receive real-time safety information through the Disaster Safety Information mobile app, 안전 디딤돌.
Thank you for all the great information. Remember, your safety is everyone's safety. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산 영어방송.
지금 방송 광고라는 부메랑을 던져보세요. 소비자를 향해 정확히 날아가는 광고. 힘차게 돌아가는 경제. 부메랑처럼 다시 기업의 이익으로 되돌아오니까요. 방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
Tomorrow is the 80th anniversary of Liberation Day here in South Korea. This is actually one of several days that are marked similarly across the two Koreas. And yesterday, the Lee Jae-myung administration laid out its 5-year roadmap for wartime opcon. So in Korean, that's the 전시 작전 통제권 transfer, calling for the shoring up of South Korea's operational planning and command capabilities to strengthen deterrence against North Korea. Questions, though. Will South Korea be able to reclaim wartime opcon in 5 years? And what might this mean for the Korean peninsula at large? Food for thought as we get ready to mark Liberation Day tomorrow. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Thursday, August 14th on BEFM, 부산 영어 방송. Oh, excuse me. I was trying to say good morning, and I had something caught in my throat. So good morning to everybody out there. Preparations are underway for the 80th anniversary of Liberation Day tomorrow. Such an important day. However, today, August 14th, is the International Memorial Day for Japanese military comfort women, or actually, that's a euphemism, victims of Japanese sexual slavery. So this marks the day in 1991 when the late Ms. Kim Ok-sun first spoke out about her experience as a wartime sexual slave after decades of social shame and silence. We, of course, know now that it took incredible courage and resilience to survive this period and to speak out about it so publicly. But the social atmosphere was certainly different back then. But thanks to these women speaking out, this day was dedicated to commemorate the victims of Japanese sexual slavery in 2017. And despite the courage from the victims who have spoken up, who have spoken out, the response, especially from Japan, was and has been lackluster at best. So in fact, this year we are getting silence once again from the Japanese government. It's been reported that Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru will not send any official message for the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II on August 15th, which once again is tomorrow. And reports say that this is due to the domestic political situation there. The last time Japan issued an end-of-war statement was exactly 10 years ago. That's when Prime Minister or former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe issued an apology for the country's past actions, but also emphasized that future generations should not have to continue to apologize. But But does repenting for past actions ever end, especially if there hasn't been closure for victims, is the big question. In the meantime, there are now only 6 surviving victims of the whole sexual slavery system. Just 6. Will they get their apology? I don't know. Well, that's where we are today. And now we're going to change the tone and tenor of the program. We're going to talk about a text topic, and this is related to a story later on. So do you share your password or passcode or, I don't know, pattern with anyone else? 자, 나는 내 비밀번호, 패턴 등 누군가와 공유한다 versus no, 혼자만 알고 있다. So please, I know you're smart enough. Don't post anything about your password. Just it's a yes or no and reasons why. So send in your responses to BFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform, type in BEFM or Busan 영어 방송 to find our channel. You can subscribe, log in, and chat with our other waivers. Also from your phone, pound 9050 샵 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can reach me for free through Kakao Talk as well. And you got to find us first, right? Same thing there. BEFM, Busan 영어 방송. Add us as a friend. And then you can send in your messages and photos as well. The ways you can tune into our program, Morning Wave in Busan. So if you're in Busan and you turn on the radio, it's 90.5 or 103.3 FM, depending on which area you are in Busan. We're streaming live on YouTube as I speak. You can watch again at your leisure. We're also available on the BEFM app and the Papang app as well. Free to download, easy to use. All right, looking at the lineup for today. It is Thursday. I know for many of you it feels like a Friday, but it is Thursday. We have Ask Dr. Liu that's coming up in hour number 1 with Dr. Ryu Sang-hyo. And Han, she's going to be joining us for Buzz Breakdown. And yes, she's filling in for Fasana, and it'll be her final day. But of course, we're going to have a great segment with her that's coming up in hour number 2. And for our special interview, I know these 2 terms you have heard a lot about, La Niña and El Niño. The ecosystem at large, and us, of course, too. We're going to find out in hour number 2. I'll be back with news overview. It's now 7:06, and this is news overview. At least 3 dead in heavy rain across central region. At least 3 people died in Incheon, Gimpo, and Pocheon as heavy rain pummeled the central regions yesterday, with more rain forecast through this morning. President Lee Jae-myung to visit Japan from August 23rd to 24th. President Lee Jae-myung will visit Japan to hold a summit with Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba ahead of his visit to the United States later this month. Special counsel summons jailed ex-First Lady for questioning. The special counsel led by Min Joon-gi has summoned former First Lady Kim 건희 for questioning today, which she said she will comply with. President names new Education and Gender Ministry nominees. President Lee Jae-myung nominated Choi Kyo-jin, the sitting Sejong Education Superintendent, as Education Minister, and Won Mi-kyung, a Commissioner of the National Human Rights Commission, as the Gender Equality Minister yesterday. Trump warns severe consequences if Putin does not agree to a ceasefire. U.S. President Donald Trump said that Vladimir Putin will face very severe consequences if he does not agree to a ceasefire in the war in Ukraine at the summit scheduled for Friday local time in Alaska. And this was News Overview. It's time for Now Busan, and we have Steve in the studio once again filling in for Sajin. Good morning.
Good morning, waivers and you.
Yes, and as Sunjunim says, it's a thrilling Thursday.
Thrilling Thursday?
Yeah, we have Manic Monday, Terrific Tuesday, Wonderful Wednesday, Thrilling Thursday.
Oh, interesting.
And then Fabulous Friday.
Okay.
Yes. Today feeling kind of like it's Friday, but it's Thursday, people.
It's Thursday.
So yes.
Right.
Well, I do want to ask you about our text topic. Do you share your password, 아니면 pattern, or anything like that? Do you share?
Never.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So do you remember all your passwords? Is it the same one? And don't tell us what it is, but is it the
It's
same one?
not the same one. It's all different. It's all different.
And you remember?
Yeah, I wrote it in my book. I wrote it in my book.
What book? 어느 책에 적었을까요?
비밀이죠.
It's secret. Okay. So you wrote it down just in case.
Yeah, I wrote it just in case. Yeah. I don't want to be hacked.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Do you change your password like what is it they recommend, like every 3 months or every 6 months? Do you do it?
When it pops up, then I do change.
You never say, ask me again later?
No. I do change.
Okay, that's good.
Because I had that experience before. So after that,
We have a message for you from 고수님. 스티브 7시 방송인데 헤어스타일이 환상적이네요. And we were
감사합니다.
mentioning this. You look so good. Are you like going clubbing like at 7 a.m.? 우리 방송 끝나고 어디 가세요?
네, 어디 안 가요?
어디 안 가요?
For this show.
Just for waivers. All right. We appreciate it. Okay, we're going to jump into our first item. I hear that Busan just got a Vietnamese consulate general. So give us a backdrop first.
Yes. On August 13th, the opening ceremony took place at Busan Jingu. It was a pretty high-profile event.
Yes.
Busan Mayor Park Kyung-jun was there, as well as Park Soo-kwan, who's been an honorary consul for years.
Okay.
From Vietnam, Party General Secretary To Lam himself attended, along with the new Consul General, Đoàn Phương Lan.
I see. Well, that is a big diplomatic presence. So remind us, why is this such a big deal?
So To Lam pointed out that Vietnamese nationals are actually the largest foreign community in Busan.
Right.
Over 14,000 people. So opening a consulate here isn't just a ceremonial move. It's about creating a local hub where Vietnamese residents can get consular help and where both countries can deepen cooperation in trade, education, and business.
Yes. So any special recognitions made during the ceremony?
Yes. Park Soo-kwan was awarded a diplomatic medal by the Vietnamese government for his long-time contributions to building friendship between the two nations.
Yes.
Mayor Park also said this could open more opportunities in marine industries, culture, and tourism.
So it does sound like, the ties between Busan and, of course, the country of Vietnam getting closer, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you told us about this one. And next, what about this headline about Busan launching this 15-minute city map? Because I know people have heard about maybe the 15-minute city like initiatives, but what's this map?
Okay, so it's an online service starting August 14th, so today, that visualizes 1,665 different public and lifestyle facilities on an interactive map.
Yes.
Things like children's centers, libraries, cultural halls, sports complexes, youth spaces, and parks. The idea is that everything you need for daily life should be reachable within about 15 minutes.
Yes, so it's basically for convenience, is it not?
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's integrated with Kakao Map, so you can see facility names, addresses, operating hours, and even get directions in real time. You can search by keyword or just pick from categories like education or sports.
Ooh, so how can people access this?
So it's in the city's 15-minute city website and also on a dedicated page.
Yes.
They've made it mobile friendly, so it works on phones and tablets, not just desktops.
Okay, that's very helpful because everybody's on their devices these days, right? So hopefully this will help new residents or even locals discover places we've never known before. So I'm going to check this one out definitely. All right, next up, I hear that the British Navy is in town.
Yes, the frigate HMS Richmond and the support ship Tide Spring arrived in Busan this week as part of an 8-month Indo-Pacific tour called Operation High Mast. Fun fact is Tide Spring was built in Korea in 2016 at what's now Hanwha Ocean.
Oh, really? So,
Yeah.
Is this a courtesy visit or is there more behind this?
So the UK says it's about strengthening defense ties and improving interoperability with Korea's Navy. They'll be in Busan for 2 weeks doing cultural and diplomatic activities. And in September, the UK's newest aircraft carrier, the HMS Prince of Wales, will be in Korean waters for an air power demonstration.
Oh, I see. So are there going to be actual joint drills?
Actually, it's already happened.
Okay.
Earlier this month, UK F-35B stealth fighters trained with the Korean Air Force doing aerial refueling and coordinated maneuvers. The UK Defense Attaché said it's a clear signal they are committed to security in the Indo-Pacific.
I see. So this is very important, the show of partnership between the two sides.
Right.
So thanks for reporting on this. All right, and next, let's talk about the job market in Busan these days. What's happening?
I guess job market in Busan these days, it's pretty steady improvement.
Okay.
July marked the 6th consecutive month where the employment rate was higher than the same month last year. It hit 58.8%, which is up 0.4 percentage points from last July.
Oh, okay. So what is fueling this growth?
So manufacturing is the main driver. 19,000 more people are employed in that sector compared to last year, which is an 8.2% jump.
Okay.
Overall employment reached about 1.709 million people.
Oh, so definitely good news. But, I have to ask, any downsides?
Oh, yes, it is. Retail, hospitality, and construction have all seen job losses, and self-employed workers dropped by 9%.
Yes.
Which shows small business owners are still facing tough times. But unemployment fell to 2.2% with 12,000 fewer jobless people than a year ago.
So it does sound kind of like a mixed picture, growth in some areas and struggles in others.
Right.
Well, before I let you go, I'm going to read one more message. Are you a language nerd? According to Dr. Yu.
Language nerd?
They say something in Vietnamese.
In Vietnamese? Xin chào, rất vui được gặp bạn buổi sáng nay. Có ăn cơm chưa? Xong rồi mình sẽ hẹn lại cùng nhau nhé. Yes.
Which means we need translator.
Oh, so like, how you doing? Good morning. Did you eat breakfast? And I'll see you guys soon.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wow. And then 태진님, 스티브 우리 방송에 너무 적합하고 고정까지 안 되지만 예지 PD님 여권 뺏어요라고까지 나왔어요. I think the all back hair 올백이 오늘 좀 먹혔나 봐요.
네. 고맙습니다.
Yes. For those of you who might be busy or not tuning in tomorrow, so this is Steve. He was filling in for, but he'll be back tomorrow, one more day. So thank you so much, Steve.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's get to our traffic and weather.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
It is now 7:18 on this Thursday morning. So looking at the traffic on the Dongso overpass right now, it looks congested from Hwangyong Ramp to the old Gaegeum toll gate. Also, traffic detected on Gwanmun-daero from Pangnam Tunnel to Baegang Tunnel. Also slow moving on Luno-Samsung-daero from Myeongji Underpass to Shinho Bridge. Currently, it's 25 degrees Celsius under sunny skies here in Busan. It's expected to go up to 33, another hot one. However, heavy rain in the central area, with the capital area expected to see up to 70 millimeters of rain per hour. Looking at the long weekend, sunny and hot across all 3 days with a daytime high to go up to 33 to 35 degrees here in Busan. So this was your traffic and weather. It's time for Top Stories. We have Haley in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Pretty good. I was about to wear black. I had it all laid out. But then I was like, oh wait, I wore black yesterday.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
I had another shirt out. And then
was it navy?
It was actually pink. However, as I put it on, and then there was a coffee stain.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I can't wear that. And then I grabbed the next. I have so many black shirts and blouses. It's like,
but honestly, my outfit that I had planned today was black with blue earrings. So yikes.
Yes,
so
we
close.
Almost twinned. Almost. Well, for our text topic, passwords, passcodes, patterns.
By the way, another text topic I want to throw out there. Do people actually change the passcode and password when the websites tell them to? Like
Steve
every
does.
3 months?
Steve does.
Do you not
apparently.
run out of numbers and letters at some point? I'm always a skip for now person. I'm like, oh, ask me back in, never. But if you must, ask me again.
I have various iterations of the same password.
I know. I'm like,
I just changed the symbol.
I know. I'm like, is it this mark or that mark?
Yeah,
so I always try the various ones. For me, I do know the passcode for everyone in my household. Well, because I also do order things for them.
Yes.
And then, because my parents are older, they do not remember. Even if I were to tell them my passcode, I don't think they'd remember. Right. And then my sister knows mine, not because I told her, but because we spend a lot of time together and she's seen me do this multiple times. So she's kind of got to figure it out. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah.
You just trust each other. It's family. Yes. Or you could be like Steve, like, no. No.
What do you want to do
so
with it?
private.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for our first story, we get serious because we need some updates on the rain in the central area.
Right. So as we reported, 3 people are dead from yesterday's heavy rain. So the first case was a car accident in Busan in Gyeonggi province yesterday morning. An SUV slipped on the slippery roads, the rainy roads, and crashed into a traffic light. And a passenger in her 70s died from this accident, with the driver injured. Another accident in Incheon, similar case, a car slipped, but this vehicle fell into a lake, killing the driver in his 40s.
Yes.
And in Gimpo, a vehicle got swept in the river, and a man in his 80s was found dead in the back seat of the car. By the way, at the time of this accident, which was a little after noon, Gimpo saw 101.5 millimeters of rain in the span of just an hour.
Wow.
So the city was getting pummeled. And then also from midnight yesterday to 4 a.m. this morning, the accumulated precipitation for some major areas, it stands at almost 300 millimeters for Paju, 298.3. In 덕적북리 in Ongjin, 272 millimeters. Incheon's Yeongjongdo Island, 268 millimeters, and so on. A lot of areas saw over 200 millimeters of rain. In Seoul, the accumulated rainfall stands at 138.7 millimeters.
Yes.
Unfortunately, more rain has been coming down this morning, including Incheon and northern Gyeonggi, already having seen heavy rains of up to 70 millimeters per hour around 4 o'clock in the morning. More rain forecast at least through the morning.
Yes, indeed. So for anybody who's listening from those areas, if you have family in those areas, please check in on them. For now, we're going to move on to our next story. The Kim-Gon-hee Special Counsel is picking up speed on its investigation with a new focus, I hear.
Right. So there are 16 allegations total that the Minjung-gi Special Counsel is handling.
Right.
Now they are moving on to others with Kim Gon-hee in detention. So the new allegation is that is this one that special counsel is throwing its full weight behind, one on the presidential office relocation case from 청와대 to Yongsan.
Okay.
So this involves allegations that the relocation of the presidential office, they had companies that don't have the qualifications to bid for or carry out public and government contracts participated in the relocation. So one such company that's at the center of allegations is 21 Gram, which was raided by the special counsel yesterday, according to the council's press release.
So let's talk about a 21 Gram. How is this company connected to the former First Lady?
Right, so directly, this was the company that was in charge of designing and the construction of Kim 건희's company, Cabana Contents.
Okay.
21 Gram also sponsored exhibitions for Cabana Contents. So some, including the People's Solidarity for Participatory Democracy, 참여연대, they have requested the Board of Audit and Inspection, the BAI, to look into accusations that the government gave preferential treatments to certain companies, including 21 Gram.
I see.
So back last September, the BAI, after an inspection, announced that 21 Gram, which effectively oversaw the entire presidential office relocation project and the construction, it actually broke ground. So it started construction before it signed the government contract.
Right.
So it kind of alludes that it almost knew that it was going to get the contract before it was official.
Sure.
And also gave subcontracts to 15 companies that didn't have qualifications for government projects. But then the special counsel also conducted a search and seizure of the BAI offices yesterday in connection to this inspection.
Okay.
Not only that, some other connections, a bit convoluted, but the wife of 21 Gram CEO is also named in the Konjin bribery allegations. The wife allegedly accompanies Kim 건희's assistant to Chanel to exchange a bag that Konjin allegedly received to give to the former First Lady. So the raid yesterday is seen as the special counsel expanding its investigations from the previous 3 to others.
I see. So that's the latest. So
Yes.
thanks for letting us know. All right, up next, the ruling Democratic Party is working on judicial reform that would vastly expand the number of Supreme Court justices.
Right. So the Democratic Party, the DP's task force on judicial reform launched earlier this week, and they announced that they plan on passing the Judicial Reforms Act, 사법개혁법, before 추석. So the top issue at hand is reforming the Supreme Court justice system, both in its numbers and how the justices are nominated.
Yes.
So lawmaker Lee Tae, who is a part of the task force team, said although the final number of justices will have to be determined after a public consensus gathering process, the goal is to expand the number of justices, currently 14, to 30, so adding 16 more. Regarding the nomination process, the task force says that the current system has the Supreme Court Chief Justice shortlisting the final nominees, and that the nomination committee apparently doesn't always have what they called democratic justification. So the members they allude to chosen arbitrarily. So they are seeking to diversify the pool of justices comprised of those with ample expertise and experience.
Yes.
So the task force moving forward will hold hearing with experts next Tuesday, 19th, and a public forum later this month.
However, these plans don't go without criticism.
Of course. So there are questions about this reform drive being one of political motivation. The opposition party, the People Power Party, they have raised allegations or questions on whether this reform has to do with President Lee Jae-myung's investigations and trials, which have been suspended. But what they're talking about is because the DP previously criticized the Supreme Court's earlier ruling to overturn the not guilty verdict for Lee Jae-myung in his election law violation case, and questioned whether the justices had read the full 60,000-page case file in the relatively expedited trial that they had. The party, the DP, however, has refuted these allegations, saying that the Supreme Court is seriously aware of the grave case overload, and they tried to resolve the situation even previously with the former Park Geun-hye administration.
I see. So that's where we are on this issue. Tomorrow, as I've already mentioned, is the 80th Liberation Day for South Korea. That's what we're marking. And the Lee Jae-myung administration is holding an appointment ceremony on this day, right?
Right, because the Lee Jae-myung administration came in after a snap election, it did not have a full inauguration ceremony.
Right.
So the government announced that it will hold a people's appointment ceremony, 국민 임명식, for the new president tomorrow. So the event will be held at Seoul's Gwanghwamun Plaza with 80 public representatives appointing President Lee Jae-myung.
Yes.
The presidential office said this day will be full of symbolism, symbolizing the Constitution's spirit of democracy, people having the sovereignty, people physically appointing the president. So among the 80 representatives will include 80-year-old Mr. Mok Jang-gyun, who's a National Merit Medal holder, and he was born in 1945. Yes, and various figures that symbolize important historical milestones throughout the country's 80-year history, including from the 419 revolution, the Gwangju May Democratic Movement, and also some well-known public figures like coach Park Hang-seo, soccer coach Park Hang-seo, and Go player Lee Se-dol.
Yes.
The youngest, I do want to highlight this individual, is 14-year-old Im Ji-ho, who helped 4 seniors evacuate during the massive wildfire this past spring. So a little hero, a teen hero. There will also be a talk show with the president answering questions from the public under the theme of The Country That I Want.
Ooh, okay. So that's happening once again tomorrow. We're letting you know ahead of time. All right, for our final story, for our number one, U.S. President Donald Trump is due to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin over the weekend. And it's been reported that Putin briefed North Korea about this summit.
Right. So an interesting backdrop happening ahead of the meeting on on the 15th in Alaska. So you recently just talked about how President Donald Trump held a virtual conference with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, along with other European leaders to talk about the backdrop of the summit, what might be discussed there. Interestingly, who did Putin consult/brief? Kim Jong-un. So that really definitely speaks to the growing ties between the two countries, North Korea and Russia. So according to the Russian press, Vladimir Putin called and briefed North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on the upcoming summit. The report also saying that Putin shared with Kim information on the context of the Alaska summit. And in evidence of warming ties between the two countries, Putin reportedly highly assessed North Korea's military support it has provided for Russia, especially in the Western Front. And he was quoted as praising the valor, heroism, and selflessness of North Korean soldiers.
Well, North Korea has also responded in kind, right?
Right. So according to the North Korean state media, the Korean Central News Agency yesterday, they too reported on this phone call. This is actually the first time that the North Korean state media reported on Kim Jong-un's call with any foreign leader.
Yes.
So the report said that Kim expressed firm conviction that North Korea would always remain faithful to the spirit of North Korea-Russia treaty and fully support all measures to be taken by the Russian leadership in the future.
Yes.
So why this matters that North Korean state media reported on this is because it is used as a propaganda machine. So its choice to alert the public about this is really solidifying that relationship. The media outlet also noted that Kim and Putin reaffirmed their willingness to strengthen cooperation and agreed to make closer contact in the future.
Right. Well, thank you for going over the ins and outs of all the stories. And of course, we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
We are ready for our first song break for this morning. So here is 매일 그대와 by IU. What a great song for this Thursday morning. Let's read some of your responses to our text topic about passwords, passcodes, patterns. Do you share them with anybody, or are they extremely secret or private? So Betty says a passcode may be only on my laptop. That's it, even though my family shares that passcode as well. So that's how it is with Benny and his family. And then we have 태진님 who says 핸드폰 비밀번호는 아이들 아내 모두 알고 있고요. 카드 통장 비번은 아내가 알고 있습니다. 자연스럽게 비번이 공유되고 있네요. 저는 와이프 비번 몰라요. I took a little pause because I'm like, that sounds so much like my situation. This is not a point of bragging, or I'm just reporting on the fact that I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. My roommate, I don't think he remembers, or he hasn't memorized his 월급 통장, the 계좌번호. He leaves everything up to me. So even I don't think he knows his PIN number or anything like that. He just gets like a monthly allowance that he sets, right? We agree on an amount, and then that's pretty much it. So 약간 비슷해요. So I don't know if it's a good thing. 좋은 건지 아닌지는 모르겠지만 that's how it is. So other people commenting about the passwords. Some people say that they are kind of updating their passwords every 3 months or 6 months whenever it pops up, but other people saying not really. So we'll read more of your messages in just a little bit, but I want to get to Ask Dr. Liu. It is time for Ask Dr. Liu. We have him in the studio. Good morning, Dr. Liu. How are you?
How are you?
Good.
Yesterday was raining.
Yes, and you were saying you were in the Seoul area.
Yeah, it was pouring.
A lot, right?
A lot.
But now here in Busan, look how sunny and beautiful it is, right?
Yeah, Busan is beautiful. And the weather, the Busan, because we are located just by the seashore,
Yes.
we have a lot cleaner air than the inland cities.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a blessing.
Oh, absolutely. And for those of you who don't live in Busan, come visit us. You'll see what we're talking about. Our text topic today about passwords, passcodes, patterns. Do you share them with anybody, or are they private?
Okay, my wife is like my personal secretary.
Okay.
So she takes care of all my financial matters.
Oh, see, I'm not the only one, and Chejin's wife is not the only one. Okay.
So she knows everything. Even she knows my bank account numbers and my bank account passcode and even my cell phone code. Because in order to log in with some kind of personal something like that.
Yes.
So, but she respects my privacy. So whenever she wants to use my cell phone, she asks.
Yes, that's important.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't know her secret passcode. But I don't feel any kind of it's a prejudice. I don't think it's prejudice at all because I know she loves me a lot. So I trust her a lot. So and then she has been a good health so far. It will be, and then in the end, so that's all.
No. I hear you. A very similar situation with our family and our finances too. I take care of all the logistics, right? And he just, gets a monthly allowance. Anyhow, let's jump into our topic for today.
Okay.
What are we going to talk about?
Okay, I'm going to talk about vaping.
You say it's like it's something good. Vaping is bad. Is it not for health?
Yeah. As you can tell by me pronouncing this, vaping like vicious. It's e-cigarettes. These are these days. I can easily bump into many kids popping when I'm on my way to home or when I'm on my way to work. So, and you know what? There is no regulation when manufacturing this kind of e-cigarettes.
Yes, yes.
I didn't know that.
So there are regulations to selling the product, obviously. You have to be a certain age. But you're saying in terms of manufacturing, there's no regulations?
No regulation.
Oh.
It's even less strict than food we ingest. So I'm going to dive into that one.
Yes.
So, e-cigarettes or vaping, for many years, vaping seems amazing. It delivers nicotine, one of the most popular addictive drugs in the world.
Yes.
So, nicotine does many things like boosting our focus and enhances our reaction time and memory.
Really?
Yeah. But the downside of it, everybody knows that it could cause cancers like lung cancer and pancreatic cancer. 90% of pancreatic cancer is smoking is held responsible for that.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't know that.
Pancreatic cancer, I didn't know.
Almost 90%.
So in Korean, what is pancreas?
췌장.
예. So smoking.
Yeah, smoking. Bladder cancer, 50%. Smoking is a culprit.
Yes.
And on the male infertility, we call it erectile dysfunction. 60% of smoking related. And dementia, all kinds of nasty things. Yeah. Anyhow,
Yes.
it's to do with those kind of smoking, nasty stuff, nicotine.
Yes.
But you know what? The reason why younger generations are into this one is they're advertising this one is less harmful.
That's kind of the common perception. But that's not true, right?
That's not true. Actually,
Right.
we don't know it. Scientists have yet to reveal what's inside of it, what's the causing it, and what's the long-term effects on our body.
Yes.
You're making yourself a guinea pig.
That whole idea of being a guinea pig, right? Like untested waters, right? Uncharted waters as well. So what's happening with like young people in particular? Like in terms of the whole teen vaping, they're calling it an epidemic these days, right?
Yeah, that's right. First, younger generations, why they are hooked up to this kind of vaping is it looks sleek.
Yes.
Yeah, and also it has a very bright design,
Right.
And the flavor is pretty diverse because they get to choose cherry flavor, some other melon flavor,
Yes, yes.
something like that.
So it seems harmless.
It seems harmless.
예쁘고 맛도, well, the flavors are so many different kinds.
Yeah.
It looks and seems harmless, but that's not the case.
Not the case at all. And the gadget, it looks cool.
Yes.
Yeah, but even though they are endorsing their products like it's less harmful than smoking.
Right.
Who knows? Less harmful doesn't mean safe. So this kind of false sense of security is the greatest weapon.
Yes.
So while smoking rate is in Western countries are falling,
Yes.
vaping is climbing rapidly among teens.
Sure.
So in 2023, about 20% of kids in the UK had tried it at least once.
That's 1 in 5.
Only 5 kids. And in the US, 8% of students vape regularly, and 1 in 4 of them, they do it daily. So what those kind of vaping do to their body.
Yeah, well, like what's in it actually? Do we know?
Well, we don't know yet. But
Okay.
what we know is they have 2 main ingredients. First is propylene glycol and glycerol.
Oh.
You guys don't need to remember this one.
Right.
These chemicals are mostly used in smoke machines and also cosmetics and some lotions and things like that.
Okay.
But these chemicals is strictly regulated.
Okay.
But let's say that if you buy some kind of a skin sunscreen, would you like to have it? Would you like to eat it, or would you like to?
No. Would I like to like ingest it and
ingest
consume?
it?
No.
Yeah, a similar thing. You're vaping. You're inhaling the substances that are less strictly regulated.
Okay.
And then you are inhaling it. Inhaling means that substance go directly into your bloodstream.
Right.
And it goes into your lung and also brain and kidney. And we don't know what the results are.
Yes.
So a younger generation, some victim was reported in the States. In the States, 2019.
Okay.
A guy named called David.
Okay.
He is a 17-year-old. It was in 2019.
Yes.
He had a shortness of breath, and he went to the emergency room. Doctors check his CAT scan and also chest X-ray.
Yes.
The doctors were amazed by the results. It's like, the symptom is like the scene of a doctor first diagnosed with some kind of a COVID-19 or SARS, things like that. So doctors, what's wrong with this lung?
Yes.
This lung is, I've never seen this kind of a pathology kind of a manifestation. And it turned out that this lung damage was caused by vaping. So since then, 2019 and 2020, there was vaping or e-cigarette related diseases happened, and doctors designated this kind of a situation as an EVALI. EVALI.
Okay.
So EVALI stands for e-cigarettes and vaping products use associated lung injuries.
Oh, so the EVALI.
That's right.
Okay.
Correct. So, and this is just a description of the disease, not the definite diagnosis, which means doctors are, this kind of disease is new to doctors.
Yes.
Which means we don't have any treatments for that.
And it kind of irks me, kind of angers me also, because this is preventable. I mean, meaning if you don't take up vaping, you're not going to do that, damage to your lungs.
So, and also, let me tell you, what kind of a material in the aerosol of those vapings? Let me go over this one.
Sure.
It contains, wait for it, cannabis?
Cannabis, that's the main ingredient in marijuana?
Yeah, that's
yes.
right.
I'm from the U.S. We were educated early on, yes.
One of the main ingredients you might inhale is something cannabis related.
Okay.
Actually, tetrahydrocannabinol is an active component in cannabis. And also it contains formaldehyde and some other carcinogens.
Oh.
And what's more is that the machine, the kind of a cigarette has its heating coil system.
Right.
And what those coil system is made of, a lot of unfiltered metal.
Yes.
Like copper, mangan, copper, magnesium, other lead and things like that.
Things that we don't want in our body.
No.
Yes.
When it gets heated and it breaks down over time and then it's gonna gives off some kind of metal particles into the aerosol and then you're inhaling it. And if you're a teenage, your brain is developing.
Yes.
And then results are a lot of studies are going on because it's not long ago that this kind of vaping available. So doctors started studying this one recently, just last year. A large controlled studies are happening, and then we are waiting for the see the results.
Yes.
So it's like you're vaping right now and on a regular basis, even though it gives some kind of kick, even though you think it's kind of increases the mood. But mind you, it's like you're putting yourself in a guinea pig, and you're gonna be in the part of a large, unsolved medical experiment.
Yes. So, in a nutshell, I mean, we shouldn't, right? What's the conclusion, Doctor? Do you?
Conclusion, well, although it is advertising, endorsing their products like it's less harmful than smoking, but who knows?
Yes.
It might be deadly. In 5 years, there might be some, I don't want to fathom the very tragic events, like the case I covered in Dave's case, like 16-year-old boy. His dream was to be a Navy SEAL, a soldier, but it was kind of foiled. I don't know how to spell it. It's, so the best way is to just to stop. Don't even think about it. Yeah. So here's some quote that enlightens me, and then I'll bet that might enlighten our audience, the listeners.
Okay.
And then it's said by Benjamin Franklin. You know what Benjamin Franklin?
Yes.
He said, "It's easier to prevent bad habits than to break them."
That's so true, though. Because once you are into a bad habit, we know how difficult it is to stop or break that habit.
That's
We
right.
all have bad habits that we have in our daily lives. Difficult to break them. So that is true.
This neurologically makes sense because when you experience some kind of bad habits, it creates some kind of a neurological circuit in your brain. So it consumes your energy and it creates some kind of a nasty kind of brain circuits, brain memory. It's like let's say that your brain is a smartphone, and then you install some kind of app that's contaminated or with virus-containing one.
Yes.
It's hard to delete it sometimes. So not installing this kind of nasty viral contaminated application or software in the first place.
Yes.
So don't even think about it.
So prevention is key.
Yeah, that's the final word I want to say to our younger generations.
Yes, yes. And by the way, it's not just the younger people. I've seen full-on adults doing it too.
That's right.
So, of course, the focus was on the youth, but I certainly hope that we can take a page out of Dr. Liu's book and be inspired to not create these bad habits for our health. Well, we'll check in with you next week. So thank you so much for another great segment, Dr. Liu.
Yes, thank you always having me.
All right. Everybody, we're going to take a song break to close out hour number 1. This is Love Me Like You Do by Ellie Goulding, and I'll be back at 8.
You're the light, you're the night, you're the color of my blood. You're the cure, you're the pain, you're the only thing I want to touch. Never knew that it could mean so much, so much. You're the fear, I don't care, 'cause I've never been so high. Follow me through the dark, let me take you past the satellites. You can see the world you brought to life, to life. So love me like you do, la la, love me like you do. Love me like you do, la la, love me like you do. Touch me like you do, ta ta, touch me like you do. What are you waiting for? Fading in, fading out, on the edge of paradise. Every inch of your skin is a holy grail I've gotta find. Only you can set my heart on fire, on fire. Yeah, I'll let
도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, BNK 부산은행과 함께합니다.
It's time for the Water Activities Safety Quiz Show with me, Mike.
And me, Jessie.
Now here is the question. On safely enjoying water activities, listen carefully and guess the right answer.
Okay.
From the following water safety measures, guess which one is correct. Number 1, always warm up before swimming or going in the water. Number 2, enter the water slowly and wear a life jacket. Number 3, never go beyond the designated swimming area. Number 4, call 119 or a lifeguard on duty if you witness drowning.
뭐지? 1번도 맞고 2번도 맞는 것 같은데.
Time is running out.
The answer is all of the above.
That is correct. All of these options are important in order to safely enjoy water activities.
If you keep them in mind, you're bound to have a great and safe summer.
Stay with BEFM this summer for a responsible beach season.
Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어 방송.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
It's now 8 o'clock. This is hour number 2 of Morning Wave in Busan. This is Spotlight News. At least 3 dead in heavy rain across central region. At least 3 people died in Incheon, Gimpo, and Pocheon as heavy rain pummeled the central regions yesterday, with more rain forecast through this morning. Authorities reported that over 400 people have evacuated across Seoul and Gyeonggi, with dozens of road and home floodings reported. A heavy rain special report has been issued across Seoul, Incheon, Gyeonggi, Gangwon, and Chungnam as the Central Disaster and Safety Countermeasures Headquarters raised its alert to level 2 and issued a flood and wind damage alert level of warning. President Lee Jae-myung to visit Japan from August 23rd to 24th. President Lee Jae-myung will visit Japan to hold a summit with Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba ahead of his visit to the United States later this month. This marks the first official bilateral summit between the two leaders since Lee took office. The two met on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Canada in June, where they agreed to resume shuttle diplomacy. It is rare for the South Korean president to meet with a Japanese leader before the first summit with a U.S. president. The presidential office explained that it was a logistical decision as a result of scheduling adjustments. Special counsel summons jailed ex-First Lady for questioning. The special counsel led by Min Jung-gi has summoned former First Lady Kim 건희 for questioning today, which she said she will comply with. This is the first summons since she has been put under custody at the Seoul Nambu Detention Center following the court's approval of her arrest warrant. Kim was processed at the detention center yesterday, issued an inmate number as well. Her attorney said that Kim has not eaten at all due to her poor health. President names new education and gender minister nominees. President Lee Jae-myung nominated Choi Kyo-jin, the sitting Sejong Education Superintendent, as Education Minister, and Won Mi-kyung, a commissioner of the National Human Rights Commission, as the Gender Equality Minister yesterday. The presidential office also announced the nomination of Seoul National University economics professor Ju Byung-gi to head the Fair Trade Commission, and former Vice Finance Minister Lee Euk-won as the head of the Financial Services Commission. Dankook University professor Kim Ho has been tapped as chairperson of the Presidential Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries, and Rural Policy, and Busan National University law professor Ta Jung-hee named chairperson of the National Education Commission. Trump warns severe consequences if Putin doesn't agree to a ceasefire. U.S. President Donald Trump said that Vladimir Putin will face very severe consequences if he does not agree to a ceasefire in the war in Ukraine at the summit scheduled for Friday, local time, in Alaska. Trump spoke to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders in a virtual meeting where he suggested a second summit with Zelensky and Putin if things go well in the first meeting. European leaders have expressed concerns of a potential deal between Trump and Putin in the one-on-one meeting. Trump reportedly reassured the leaders that the goal for the summit was a ceasefire and agreed that Zelensky should be involved in any territorial talks. This was Spotlight News. It's time for Waglwagle. Haley's back in the studio.
Hello.
Yes. So, for our first story, we're going to be talking about something that everybody's been waggling about. K-pop Demon Hunters, obviously striking gold, but despite the kind of K label, it's in the title, obviously, throughout the whole film, no South Korean company nor entity is reaping the financial benefits.
Yeah, it's actually K-pop Demon Hunters without the K involved in the process. By the way, I cannot be the only person that has golden on replay. But here's a philosophical question, if you will. What constitutes K-pop?
This is a tough one.
I know. And this is something that we've addressed multiple times, and there have been attempts by Korean agencies and non-Korean agencies to launch a non-Korean K-pop group as well.
Yes.
I mean, to varying degrees of success, but it is hard to say that those non-K-pop groups have really made it hugely mainstream until now. Right, so definitely some are saying this is a new chapter to the K-wave.
Yes.
So Demon Hunters on Netflix, it's been sweeping the charts, whether it be the Netflix most watched. I think it's second most watched ever now, including also the top spot on the Billboard Hot 100,
right,
which is a major feat. Well, here's the thing. As Kat said, no Korean company was involved in the production.
Yes.
It was produced by Sony Pictures, which is the U.S. subsidiary of Japan's company Sony, sold to Netflix, obviously a U.S. firm. Music was by the American company Universal Music Group's Republic Records, a sub-label there. Of course, plenty of Korean American, Korean descendant creators were involved in the process, but it does break the formula that K-pop is made and produced by Koreans.
Yes.
So K-pop Demon Hunters is expected to have 1 trillion won in intellectual property or IP value.
Wow. And, this is very much, a singular case where it's really popular, but it's not the first such case of K-culture being sold by non-Korean entities.
Right. For K-pop, it is, as you said, singular in that it's so mainstream. However, in terms of other K-wave, K-culture, food, kimbap, namely Trader Joe's, sold widely popular kimbap. Trader Joe's is an American grocery store chain.
Right.
Panda Express, which is an Americanized Chinese brand in the States, also has a buldak chicken in collaboration with the company that created the sauce.
Okay.
There are also so many cosmetics companies with the name like Seoul or K, but a lot of them are not Korea-based. So global companies are starting to make their own Korean products, which some experts call the start of K-Wave 3.0. So then what was 1.0? Well, 1.0 was when, remember K-pop was kind of like a minority
definitely.
thing when you and I were in the States. Like some people knew about it, but others
it
were
wasn't
like,
a thing.
Oh, you like it was kind of considered nerdy.
Yes,
that was
yes,
the perception
yes.
back then. And then K-Wave 2.0, BTS, Blackpink, definitely mainstream. K-Wave 3.0 is when this is global. It's not Korean anymore. But it is a bittersweet moment, if you will, for those in the Korean entertainment industry because again, if K-pop Demon Hunters is reaping in potentially 1 trillion won in benefits, but no part of the Korean industry is getting it, then it does leave a bit of a sour taste in their mouths. So they are concerned a bit about what might happen for the industry.
Yes.
So again, this show or this movie shows that companies don't necessarily may not need to partner up with Korean entertainment agencies to strike it big. However, is this going to be the formula moving forward, or is this kind of like that thing magic happening, working its way? We'll have to see.
Yes, definitely. We'll keep an eye on this one. Thanks for pointing out some great issues. Up next, when you are dealing with the passing of a loved one, there are a lot of realistic issues to consider, right? Including sometimes having to unlock their, cell phone or mobile phone, which can either be sometimes a major legal battle or very much an expensive process.
Right. So especially if you're involved in things like a lawsuit, industrial accident, or even a social disaster.
Okay.
So I'm citing a report from 중앙일보, which reported on this particular case. A Myanmar migrant worker and his family. Unfortunately, this worker died. So the 24-year-old worker got a job at a factory in Gimpo and told his sibling multiple times that the work was extremely hard and that he is going to quit. The victim, the deceased, was going to a hospital for an extreme headache when he died on the way to the hospital. Because when he got his worker's permit, he had to go through a physical. The physical showed a clean bill of health. So the hospital even couldn't pinpoint to a specific cause of death. However, because the police found no point of criminality, the authorities never did an autopsy. So the cause of death still kind of a mystery.
Okay.
Well, the family suspects this as an industrial disaster, not a physical accident, but that overexertion or overwork may have played a part. However, without an autopsy and the funeral completed, the only possible evidence would be in the deceased cell phone.
Yes.
However, that is locked. Right, and the family does not know this passcode or the pattern. So they took it to a private forensic company, which gave them a potential bill of 6.3 million won, 630만 원, to unlock the phone.
Wow.
The family couldn't afford that, so this case is kind of it's done. It's just they're not going to be able to get to the bottom of it. By the way, the case is similar regardless of your nationality.
Sure.
Apple and Google, with their strengthened private policy, the manufacturers, even if you take it to their service centers, they are just legally not. They cannot unlock the phones. So this is when private forensic companies may step in.
Yes.
But depending on the type of a phone you have, so basically how old your phone is under what privacy law it was created in, if you have a way old model, fairly cheap, fairly easy. For the newest, the S brand model, basically the companies are saying, oh, we can't. And we won't even go there.
Yes.
So it may take between 4 million all the way up to 8 million won to unlock your phone. 800만 won. And again, it could be impossible for the newest models.
Yes. Question though. Is there any exception to this?
Right. So you might be wondering, well, what about for social disasters? Not really. So let me give you real life examples for the Jeju airplane crash at Busan International Airport and the Itaewon crowd crush. There have been lawsuits and cases lodged from the families requesting that the victims' phones be unlocked so the families could, contact those in friends or family and get the funeral process going. For the airplane crash, the government thankfully mediated talks with Samsung Electronics, Kakao, and Apple to provide only the phone numbers in the victim's contact list to the family, so at least they could go on with the funerals. So a Democratic Party lawmaker is apparently working on a solution, saying that it's impractical to have this legislative gap and only rely on goodwill from corporations or expect the government to step in.
Yes.
In larger social disasters, yes, but they can't do that for every single individual case.
True.
So this bill would have the user during his or her lifetime designate a proxy, 법정 대리인, for times of death or if this person goes missing. In that case, that proxy would have access to the previously agreed upon realm of information.
So ahead of time, there would be like a determination.
Right,
I get it.
right.
Okay. So very pertinent in this day and age.
Something you hope you would never have to deal with, but in this day and age, you
Yes.
sometimes might have to.
That's true. All right, up next. People get creative with wedding or birth announcements, but one case has the Health Insurance Corporation, the national one, stepping in.
Yeah, so they're all okay. So people have different opinions about all the bridal showers, the bachelorette parties, gender reveal parties.
I have the whole gender reveal.
I have so many opinions about that.
That's a whole different issue.
Yeah. But you listeners, you are free to woggle about that in the comments.
Yes.
Tell me how much I don't want to get invited to one, for example. But this official story, Health Insurance Corporation has notified some businesses to make corrections to the unauthorized use of the Health Insurance Corporation's logo in their products.
Oh, so how are the national health insurance logo and pregnancy announcements? How are they linked?
Yeah, so in this era of social media and large-scale creators, we've talked about how some people have damaged the ecosystem or set wildfires with their gender reveal parties.
Yes.
In Korea, gender reveal is also kind of a thing, but this is a trend, hashtag 임명아웃. So
What's 임명아웃?
임신 plus coming out. It's a pregnancy announcement.
Okay.
Yeah. So companies make a pregnancy announcement, some of them in the form of health insurance bills. So if you are pregnant, you choose to use this company, they will mail your friends and family your pregnancy announcement in the form of a bill. So it makes their way into the mailbox. So I, like an unassuming friend, picks it up why did my health insurance bill come in mail? I open it. It's a pregnancy announcement from a friend.
Really?
So it's supposed to be a surprise. Whether I wanted that surprise or not, that's a whole different discussion we can spend the next hour. But yeah, there are similar products sold in forms of Seoul City's traffic infraction ticket. So you think you got a ticket in the mail and you're like, surprise, you're going to be an ant.
I don't know.
And
I have thoughts on that.
I have many thoughts, not many positive. Tax service notices
Oh
on
my
this
gosh.
too.
Can you imagine? That's the worst.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I might call my friend and have choice words.
Yes.
But to each their own, I guess. So people are trying to be creative. And some people might find this funny. But there are concerns that, number one, by the way, an unauthorized use of a national corporation logo is actually against the law. It's not even, so if you use a company logo without authorization, that's a copyright issue in civil court. But a government agency's logo is actually impersonating a public official. That is a crime. You can be prosecuted for this. And also for companies, if you have a business, shouldn't you know better? Is my question. But in any case, yes. So therefore, because there are then now risks of these being used for scams, the government is cracking down on it. So the health corporation is asking these companies to pull back.
Yes. Now we know. Don't do that. All right. For our final stories, there have been some unexpected investors and usage of Bitcoin.
Right. So Harvard
Harvard. Yes.
University, it began investing in Bitcoin. So it now holds about $116 million worth of Bitcoin exchange trade funds.
Sure.
So the university filed this as it's legally required to do with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. And this shows huge jumps in cryptocurrency that's taken in the Trump era. Trump has dubbed himself as the crypto-friendly president. And under his leadership, the congressional Republicans have passed bills addressing crypto. The valuation of Bitcoin that's held by Harvard, the valuation of Bitcoin, period, is actually higher than that of nearly all S&P 500 companies, except for NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Apple.
Okay.
So Bitcoin is the fourth largest company, but entity.
Okay.
So Harvard, like many U.S. universities, it has huge assets from endowment funds, donors, tuition, and they do invest the money in funds to create profit margins. Harvard is set to maintain about a 10% earnings rate annually. So usually universities tend to be more conservative in their investments because they don't want to waste away donor funding. So it shows how much Bitcoin and crypto is now really in the mainstream.
Yes. And then we're going to bring it back to South Korea. The Korean Red Cross received its first donation of Bitcoin?
Yeah, donations now may be received as cash, goods, and crypto. So Mr. Kim Go-seok, who's a longtime donor to the Red Cross, 적십자에, has donated 1 Bitcoin. And do you know how much Bitcoin is worth? Yeah, that's a huge amount, making the very first crypto donation in the organization's history.
Sure.
So he's actually pledged, the first person in the Red Cross's history to have pledged 1 billion won, 10억 won, in donations. He's getting there. He has so far donated 960 million won to the Red Cross.
He's almost there.
So under the guidelines, Red Cross immediately liquidated the coin, so sold it, making 160 million won, 1억 6천만 won in total. This money will go to flood recovery and medical care for low-income families.
Yes.
So definitely, the Red Cross says it is meaningful in that it is expanding the donations base. So hopefully, this can encourage more giving.
Yes, any donation is good. So thank you for sharing all the woggly stories. And of course, we'll have you here tomorrow for a special broadcast. So thank you, Haley.
Have a great weekend.
And let's get to your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. It's now 8:19. First up, Gwangan Bridge, that top portion going towards the Daejeon overpass, it's congested. Also, traffic on the Namhae Expressway from Deokjeon Ramp to Gupo Nakdonggang Bridge. Looking slow on Yeonsu-do from Mangmi to Suyang intersection. And it's backed up on Chungjang-daero from pier number 5 to pier number 4. Currently, it's already 28 degrees Celsius under sunny skies here in Busan. It's expected to go up to 33 today. However, in the central area, heavy rain. The capital area expected to see up to 70 millimeters per hour of rain. Looking ahead to the long weekend, sunny and hot across all 3 days, with the daytime highs ranging from 33 to 35 degrees Celsius. Here in Busan, this was your traffic and weather. This is your special interview. Recently we have discussed many climate-related issues, and today's topic is no exception. New research reveals that El Niño is having serious impacts on tropical insects. So as climate change drives stronger and more frequent El Niño events, scientists warn that these changes could have far-reaching consequences for ecosystems around the world. So to help us better understand this critical issue and what's at stake, we've invited an expert to share his insight into what we're talking about today. This is Professor Nigel Stork, Emeritus Professor in the School of Environment and Science at Griffith University. Hi, thanks for joining us today, Professor.
Thank you and good morning.
Yes. So if you could first explain what the whole El Niño phenomenon is in layperson's terms, and specifically how it affects insect biodiversity and ecosystem functions in tropical forests.
Sure. I think the first thing to note is that we've known that there are insect declines have been observed in the temperate regions, the cooler parts of the world like Europe and North America, where things are very well studied. But there's so many different factors involved in that: pollution, loss of habitat, pesticides, and so on. It's difficult to disentangle which is affecting them. So we look for studies in the tropics where we could rule out a lot of those effects and principally focus on climate change. And we found that this El Niño effect, which is all about the warming of the sea in the southern Pacific, really. El Niño is when you get, in most places, drier and warmer years. And La Niña, which is kind of the opposite, it tends to be wetter and cooler.
Yes.
And we found that with the insects, the studies that we found across the tropics were showing that there were big declines in the insects in the El Niño years, the drier and warmer ones, and in the wetter years in the La Niña, they were recovering. But because we're getting more frequent and more intense El Niños, the overall effect is a decline in those insects.
I see. Well, Professor, some people might think, well, isn't that a good thing, fewer insects and whatnot? But I hope you can explain the key roles that insects play in maintaining healthy ecosystems and how the loss of insect diversity actually might impact the balance and overall functioning of these ecosystems.
Sure. Well, insects are the little things that rule the earth and run the earth. They're the ones that make things happen in plants and forests, in agriculture. And without them, a lot of the things wouldn't actually work at all. Agriculture will fall over. We know that pollination is declining around the world. Farmers are having to bring in thousands of honeybee nests to pollinate their plants, and then they move those beehives somewhere else to do the pollinating too. But the insects do a lot more than just that. They do things like they break down the leaf litter or dung from the other animals. And without those things, these things don't happen. And you don't get the nutrient recycling you need as well.
Yes. And so can we talk about some of the specific insect groups that have been most affected thus far?
Well, the studies that we've looked at, they tend to focus on the really well-known things like butterflies and beetles and other groups that just don't have the data. And surely these things are showing that there is a decline and populations are just dwindling for some of those groups. But I suspect it's happening right across the board. I don't think it's just the butterflies, or I think it's just if we looked at some of the other groups more intensely, we'll probably find exactly the same things happening there as well.
Yes, indeed. So by studying tropical forests, what did you learn about climate change and the impact of these El Niño events on insect declines, Professor?
Well, as I said, it's mostly that we think that there are a decline in insects. The abundance is going down, the diversity.
Right.
Often it's the rare species which drop out. And so we could be seeing extinction for some of those rare species. We just don't have enough information to be firm on those ideas, but it's probably happening.
So going back to what you said about common insects that we do know about, butterflies and beetles, plus, of course, other insects as well. So what kind of ecological consequences might follow if these type of key insect groups continue to decline?
So you have to remember that a lot of birds and mammals rely on insects to feed.
That's right.
So their numbers will decline as well because they simply won't get enough food. And I think that's probably being shown around the world already. But you don't get the breakdown of the leaves, dead wood. And so the nutrients aren't being recycled. Trees and the flowers are not being pollinated. So it can have a stagnation of natural processes in our tropical forests.
Yes, yes. And from your perspective, Professor, what steps do we need to take? Because I'm assuming that we want to prevent further losses to at least slow down the decline if we can reverse it.
Yeah. So the most important thing is to reduce the amount of carbon that we're putting into the atmosphere. And in other words, the major driver of climate change is this carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases that go into the atmosphere. So we need to be reducing the amount of oil and coal that we use.
Yes.
Using more recycling and thinking more carefully about how we care for our environment. And everybody can be involved in that, but pressure on government is really important.
So on that note, as ordinary citizens, aside from putting pressure on governments or corporations, is there anything else we can do?
Well, restoration of some of the traditional habitats, some of the forests is really important. Restoration of waterways and wetlands is also important. And managing our environment far better than we have been doing.
Yes, yes. Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing your expertise and really schooling us on the effect that El Niño and these weather patterns may be having on these insects, which ultimately, as you said, Professor, it does affect the entire ecosystem. So thank you so much for coming on air with us and take care.
My pleasure. Thank you.
This was Professor Nigel Stork. And this whole idea, because we say it like, oh, fewer mosquitoes or fewer insects, we think temporarily may be good for us, but ultimately not really, because we don't want to mess with Mother Nature and that ecosystem and those ecosystems that we have all around the world in our environment. Well, we're going to take a song break, so here it is. This is 사랑은 늘 도망가 by 이문세, and we'll be back in a moment.
이 길을 걸으며 그 사람 손길이 자꾸 생각이 난다 붙잡지 못하고 가슴만 떨었지 내 아름답던 사람아 사랑이란 게 참 쓰린 거더라 잡으려 할수록 더 멀어지더라 이별이란 게 참 쉬운 거더라 내 잊지 못할 사람아 사랑아 왜 도망가 수줍은 아이처럼 행여놓아 버릴까봐 꼭 움켜쥐지만 그리움이 쫓아 사랑을 도망가 잠시 쉬어가면 좋을 텐데 세워도 차가운 이별에 눈물이 차올라 잊지 못해서 가슴에 사무치 내 소중했던 사람아 사랑아 왜 도망가 수줍은 아이처럼 지지만 그리움이 쫓아 사랑은 늘 도망가 잠시 쉬어가면 좋을 텐데 덩어리처럼 행여놓아 버릴까봐 꼭 움켜쥐지만 그리움이조차 사랑은 늘 도망가 잠시 쉬어가면 좋을 텐데 잠시 쉬어가면 좋을 텐데
It's time for Buzz Breakdown. Guess who's here? Han's here.
Good morning.
Yay.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good. It's a lovely sunny morning.
Yes, it is.
What's there not to like?
Right.
And I get to see you guys.
Aww.
Best
likewise.
Yes.
Ditto. Hey, text topic time.
Okay.
So today we've been talking about like passwords, passcodes, 패턴.
Yeah.
So do you share them with anyone, like family, friends, like, or are they very, very secretive and private to you?
That's a private thing. No.
No,
I don't think I feel comfortable.
Even
Actually,
with
all of my family members, even when my mom asked me to help her on her phone.
Yes.
And I asked her, hey, what's your passcode? Like, I think we're all very private about it.
Oh, she's like, okay,
let me do it. And I do the same.
Yeah, interesting.
Ooh, revealing the passcode feels too vulnerable.
Oh, likewise, we have a message. I'm going to read just one message. Young who says, good morning. 비밀번호를 공유하면 더 이상 비밀번호가 아니잖아요.
Good point.
Kind of true. Right, that's true.
Point.
저는 비밀번호가 너무 많아서 모든 비밀번호를 제 디지털 수첩에 적어둡니다. So how do you remember all your passwords? Or is it like a singular one or?
I try to narrow it down to 2 or 3. Or else I did try once to have like it all different.
Yes.
And that was a nightmare. Just every time like, what was that password?
Exactly. And sometimes like I input it on my phone and then like, you hit one wrong key and you're like, wait, wasn't it that? Was it not? So,
I do like to be a little funny or mischievous when I'm making my passcodes. Like, when I make a new one and it's a little funny or like dark, I do a little chuckle like
every time you're typing it.
Nobody knows.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna dive into Buzz Breakdown. What do you have for us today?
Okay, so before we dive into it, Catherine, when you think of the movie Apollo 13, starring Tom Hanks, what comes to mind?
Okay, I can't act, but I remember the line.
Yes.
Houston, we have a problem.
That's right.
I mean, that's so iconic, right?
So iconic.
Yes.
And I think it was one of the first movies I watched that had that very dramatic tension.
Yes.
I remember it. Well, yes, I think a lot of people also think about Tom Hanks in that line. Well, the character that Tom Hanks played, the man Jim Lovell, he recently passed away at the age of 97. So I thought we could buzz about his legacy and his life.
Interesting. I'm excited. Okay. So tell us about him.
Okay, so James Arthur Lovell Jr. was born in 1928. Actually, the same year that my grandfather was born. And he grew up with a single mother, and they weren't well off. So college was, at the time, financially out of reach. So he joined the U.S. Navy. So training as a fighter pilot while attending school. And the thing is, rockets were his real passion right from the get-go.
Rockets.
In Korean, there's this expression, 떡잎부터 알아본다. So it's very telling that he loved rockets. And his thesis at the Naval Academy was on the topic of liquid fuel engines, which was unheard of at the time. And that obsession would eventually land him in NASA's most elite group of astronauts, the New Nine. And this was alongside Neil Armstrong, people like John Young. Yeah.
Definitely. Big
So
names.
It was like he was destined to, be on the Apollo 13.
Sure. So when was his first space flight?
Okay, so Lovell's first space flight was in 1965, and it was aboard the Gemini 7.
Okay.
So this mission tested whether human beings could endure a full 2 weeks in space.
Okay.
So he and his crewmate, Frank Borman, launched Gemini 7, and they spent 14 cramped days proving that it was possible.
Oh.
So quite an achievement. And then the next flight that he was on was Gemini 12. Now, for this one, he was paired with, at the time, rookie Buzz Aldrin.
I actually saw him in person.
Really?
Yeah, Buzz
Was it
Aldrin.
in his older age, of course?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. It was during a special lecture at school.
Oh,
but
he's
it
a
was like
lovely man.
amazing
Yeah,
to hear
right?
like from the man himself because,
I feel like astronauts have a very different aura about them.
Absolutely. He had this aura.
Yeah.
And just like he walked into the lecture hall and we were just like, you could hear a pin drop. We were just like,
Wow.
but it's Buzz Aldrin,
It's
right?
Buzz Aldrin,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yes, he's the second person to walk on the
Yes,
moon after Neil Armstrong. And that on this flight, they tested working outside the spaceship. So essentially kind of the early version of spacewalking.
Yes.
And then came Apollo 8, which was NASA's most dangerous mission yet. And the first one to leave low Earth orbit and then enter the moon's gravitational pull.
Yes.
So more of a challenging flight.
Sure.
That was on Christmas Eve, 1968. Lovell, along with Borman and William Anders, they became the first humans to see the far side of the moon. And then came a sight that changed how all of us on Earth kind of see our place in the universe.
Yes, yes.
This photograph, this very famous photograph, is our first buzzword.
Okay.
It's called Earthrise.
Earthrise.
Yeah, so it was taken by the Apollo 8 astronauts. This was in 1968.
Breathtaking.
We have a picture of
Yes.
it on our YouTube live stream. And it's very stunning. And
Absolutely.
it's the picture of the Earth rising above the moon's horizon. 한국말로는 지구도지라고 부르더라고요.
Right.
So yeah, just to give you paint the picture of at the time, from the far side of the moon, Earth was right there, looking rather very tiny.
Yes.
Fragile, but like glowing, very blue.
And we always think of sunrise, but Earthrise.
It's a very poetic expression
Yes.
too. So when they saw this image at the time, Lovell, he just shouted to his crewmates quick, grab the camera.
Thank
And
goodness he did.
then William Anders took that shot, that iconic shot. And it was one of the first images to show our planet as this very small and fragile sphere against the darkness. So people say that this inspired people to care more about protecting the Earth, and it sparked more environmental movements.
Sure.
And yeah, so that was Earthrise, that beautiful photo.
I love that vantage point, though. I mean, seeing things from a different perspective,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Because we're so egocentric and we're so self-centered, just human beings, we just are. And we think
Everything
we're
just
the
seems
center of the universe.
right, so important.
And we're not.
But in the big scope of things, yeah.
Okay, so first buzzword, Earthrise.
Yes. And then a couple of years after that was the Apollo 13 that was made into a movie. So that was April 1970. And Lovell this time was in command of Apollo 13, joined by Jack Swigert and Fred Hayes.
Yes.
And this time the mission was to actually land on the moon. So 2 days in, 200,000 miles from Earth, Swigert was told to, stir the oxygen tanks, which was
Yes.
a routine procedure. But instead, the spacecraft shuddered at the time. So oxygen pressure plummeted and all the power systems shut down. And that's when astronaut Jack Swigert actually said to the mission control, okay, Houston, we've had a problem here. But then
that's what he said?
after that, Lovell repeated the message, Houston, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem.
That famous or infamous line,
Definitely,
yes.
yeah. So that is our second buzz phrase.
Yes.
And, I feel like I find myself sometimes using this using this phrase.
I've used it too.
Yeah. So it became a part of our cultural vocabulary.
Yes.
So kind of a calm way of signaling big trouble.
Exactly. 차분하게, 근데 oh
Yeah.
my God, there's something big.
Yeah, like, okay, don't be alarmed, but this is happening.
Right. Calm down, but.
Right.
Yes.
And yes, but at the time, it was a huge problem on Apollo 13.
Yes.
An oxygen tank had exploded, so it disabled the command module. And with no heat shield, the lunar module was never meant to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere.
Sure.
But they figured out it could be used as a lifeboat to keep them alive. So that's when the crew shut down all the non-essential systems. They rationed food and water and watched the cabin temperature drop below freezing. So
oh my gosh.
they were under dire conditions.
Yes.
And really, at the time, the whole world was really tuned into this, right?
And the thing is, the space race, there was a lot of competition. But at this moment, I hear it was just the people just became one, right?
Yes, all around the world.
Humankind.
Just collectively holding their breath. And later, NASA would call Apollo 13 as a successful failure.
Oh, is that our next buzzword?
Yeah, our next buzz phrase. So I love this expression.
I like it too.
Right? In Korean, I guess it would translate to 성공적인 실패. But yeah, it means that this mission did fail to reach its main goal.
Yes.
Which was to land on the moon. But it made the most successful achievement, which is bringing the crew home alive.
Yes.
And safe.
Right.
Yes, so successful failure. I don't know. I feel like there are examples of successful failures all throughout life.
I mean, but without those technical failures, we would not have so many even inventions, even something like the light. We have so many lights in here.
Yeah.
Even the light bulb, how many times did it take for them to come up with one that could stay lighted instead of bursting or cracking or whatever, right?
Definitely.
I mean, failure after failure, but
so
ultimately,
when I sometimes perform on stage, actually when I know that I've failed, I don't know, it gives me that good feeling okay, you know what? I bombed, but this means that it's going to lead up to me figuring it out and doing better and succeeding later on. So
right. What a
like
positive way to think about it, though.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't always work. Sometimes I'm just I'm a failure.
I'm cringing at myself right now.
Exactly.
Oh, no. We all feel that sometimes, right?
Yes.
So successful failure.
Yes, that was Apollo 13. And really, as we were saying, them coming back home wasn't guaranteed.
Yes.
So during the re-entry, usually the radio silence I hear was about 3 minutes, but this time it dragged on to more than 6.
Yes.
So just millions of people watching on TV, but then people heard Jack Swigert voice.
Yes.
Followed by the parachutes deploying.
Right.
And that splashdown on the Pacific Ocean, it really was a relief for people all around the world.
Yes.
And let's see if we can pull up that photo of them.
That's also iconic.
Iconic and just I don't know, I can feel I can see the relief in the back of them. Now that they're they're down, safe, beautiful picture.
Right, because for any flight, not just any a rocket, a space shuttle, but even for they say airplanes, takeoff and landing are the most dangerous times, right?
Right.
Oh, yes.
Amazing moment. And yeah, just reading and watching videos about Lovell's life, it makes me think of leadership. Right?
Yes.
Because his calm leadership had turned this potential catastrophe into, an example of problem solving under pressure. What a big stakes way to do it.
Right. And so now we are privy to the information, and we see footage of literally the astronauts who are amazing scientists on their own. They're given this is what you have on board.
Yeah.
And you got to make do. Because you can't go out to
I have
Home
so much
Depot and get a
respect.
part.
Yeah.
Right?
And when it's more than a couple of days, it's like, it's so grueling.
Right,
under
right.
those circumstances.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious, though, because this was, of course, the pinnacle of his career. But like, what was his life like after Apollo 13?
So after Apollo 13, Lovell actually retired from the Navy. And then he worked in different businesses and, of course, like gave speeches.
Yes.
But he never chased celebrity. So very telling of the person that he was.
Yes.
But he did write a memoir, and that memoir became the basis for the film Apollo 13.
Oh, really?
Which
Okay,
came
okay.
out in 1995. And after the news of Lovell's passing, Tom Hanks, who played him,
Yes.
in his social media post, paid tribute and called Lovell one of those people who dare, who dream, and who lead others to places we would not go on our own. Yeah.
Fitting tribute.
So
Yes.
literally, too, and just like throughout his life, I think metaphorically, he embodied that. Yeah.
What a life, though.
What a life.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a lot of videos that you can look up of him, like speeches that he gave, like in his older age. And
Sure.
he has a very beautiful presence. Yeah.
So if we had to wrap up, what do you think Jim Lovell really showed us, showed humankind?
So he showed that space travel, it's not just about the high-tech hardware and science. It's about human judgment, teamwork, of course, and just the ability to stay steady in those situations when everything's falling apart.
But I can't imagine being up there.
Ooh, gives
and,
me chills.
Like, we have a problem.
Yeah.
And then to have the wherewithal to lead his team into coming up with, these, plan B, plan C. Right.
Being in contact. And and I've also that moment, it was at the end of the Vietnam War, but just people tuned in.
Yes.
Just holding their breaths. It really, at the time, just brought the whole world together.
Right. Unification of the whole world.
And once in awe, just staring at the beauty of Earthrise, and then once in fear, watching the damaged spaceship. He proved that not every hero, plants a flag, but some just make sure that everyone gets back safely.
That's right. So let's go over the key phrases, the buzz breakdown, because, by the way, I love your storytelling. So good.
Thank you.
But we do need to go over the terminology. So
okay, so the first buzzword was Earthrise, that gorgeous photo taken by the astronauts on Apollo 8.
Yes.
And Houston, we have a problem.
Which we use in daily life. I mean, not every day, but
every day, but it can be used humorously or seriously to signal that something's going wrong. And finally, successful failure, which Apollo 13 was.
Yes. And those successful failures ultimately do lead to success, don't you think?
I think so, definitely.
Yes. Well, we're going to call it a wrap for today, but once again, thank you, not just for today, but coming in and filling for Vasana. We do appreciate it. And of course, welcome back anytime.
All right, Wavers, I'll see you another time. Bye.
Yes, everybody, this was Heian. And it's time to wrap up today's broadcast. And for those of you, especially in the central region, in the capital area, the rain is supposed to continue into this morning. And of course, we did report on the deaths related to the torrential rains. I hope you are safe and continue to do so. And tomorrow, we are going to have a special 80th anniversary Liberation Day broadcast. So be sure to tune in tomorrow to find out more. And wishing you a lovely long weekend. For those of you who aren't tuning in tomorrow, that's fine too. This is Fly Me to the Moon by Tony Bennett. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.
Poets often use many words to say a simple thing. It takes thought and time and rhyme to make a poem sing. With music and words I've been playing. For you I have written a song. To be sure that you'll know what I'm saying, I'll translate as I go along. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other